Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video I wanted to look over truck pricing. A lot of guys are asking me, hey, is this the time to buy? Should I wait? And so I wanted to explore this. We ran through some numbers. Numbers are coming from FreightWaves, who got their numbers from JD Power, one of the associations there. If you guys might remember JD Power and Associates. And the numbers are quite striking. So there's going to be a few things that you can do depending on your operation. If you're a single truck owner operator, if you're a large fleet, or if you're just getting into the industry, or you don't have a trailer, there's going to be different solutions for each and every one of you. So let's go ahead and jump in real quick. I made a little presentation. We'll look over numbers. We'll look over a few different things. Oh, wrong tab. So what we're going to be talking about are used truck pricing, because the bubble has burst. It's continuing to burst. So again, that's why it's going to be different for every single one of you. And if you want to start a conversation, have some specific questions, definitely leave them in the comment section below, and we'll definitely get to those. So let's kind of jump in, guys. Used truck prices are falling quickly after reaching record highs in 2022, and the decline is in used truck prices is being driven by a number of different factors, including the improving availability of new trucks. So they're finally coming off the line. They're becoming much more available, and many of you guys who've been waiting for a long time will have the opportunity to finally pick them off and start riding in a new truck. Now, the other thing is the down freight market. Obviously, no news here. The market has been pretty terrible, consistent lower lows for 38 weeks, but the market's been bad longer than that. Finally, the rising cost of fuel and very, very expensive financing with today's interest rates. So you have to consider all of those things when purchasing or considering purchasing new equipment. So what do we got next? We got the depreciation gap between lower and higher mileage trucks. It's widening, okay? Because lower mileage trucks are in high demand. So that's what you're running into, is that you're going to have some older trucks with less miles that are actually going to be less expensive than newer trucks with more miles. And that's what we're actually seeing get flooded into the market. The monthly depreciation in 2023 is currently averaging about 6.5%, which means that used truck pricing is falling. Okay, it's falling at about 7% each month at a clip of that. So keep that in mind, so you don't beat yourself up, because you can, rest assured that next month is going to be cheaper, and the month after that's going to be cheaper again. But you have to also consider the utility of that equipment and whether or not you're going to be using that truck or that trailer or whatever equipment you're going to be financing. Yes, it's declining in price, but are you making that money back through the gross revenue that you're bringing in? So some things to consider for sure. Now, late model trucks, they're fetching lower prices in 2023 than they did in 2022. We know that. And this, the reason for this is because the market is now flooded with used trucks that were purchased during the pandemic. You guys remember how trucks were just completely bonkers as far as pricing. Now, what we're looking at is high mileage, late model used trucks that are actually fetching a lower price than older models, because they're seen as less desirable by buyers, right? So this is exactly what we're talking about. A lot of guys put on a lot of miles. It's just something that we're going to actually look into, and it's going to be something that you're going to want to consider when you're pricing out your next truck purchase, right? Used truck purchase. Now, new truck availability is improving because manufacturers are catching up with the orders placed during the pandemic, so those are coming off the line. You're not necessarily going to jump in and pick one up today. It's very, very unlikely. There are still lists, but at least people are picking up the new trucks as they're coming off the line. Now, the number of trucks sold in May was similar to the number of trucks sold in April, but the auction prices were lower across the board. So again, that is a trajectory that you want to follow through. I don't necessarily recommend trying to find the bottom, the floor. Very unlikely. And then you're gonna, if the prices come up a little bit, you're gonna say, okay, well, maybe I gotta wait, and then the prices might come up again, and you're gonna feel like you're losing out on the money. You missed out on the floor. So don't try to time the market. The best stock traders out there have not been able to figure that one out in all the decades and decades of open market. Right now, late model trucks have averaged 5.7% less money in May than in April. So prices are going down. Now, something to consider: if we have an average of 6.5% based on the last 5 months of the year, because this is going through April compared to May for the 5th month, if that's what we have, and now we're seeing 5.7% less money in May than in April, then that means that the slowdown is, or the decrease is slowing down, right? So we might be looking at a slower degradation of the used market. However, as we're going to continue with the video, you're going to see some other reasons where we actually might see these numbers spike, which means it's a good thing for owner ops, for you guys, because you're going to be able to buy equipment even cheaper. So here's the thing: 46.3% was less money that was paid in May of 2022. So they paid considerably more. Now, what's more interesting is that, as I mentioned, in the first 5 months of 2023, the late model sleepers brought in 46.9% less money than the same period of 2022, a year back. So what we're actually seeing is that there's 46.3% less money than in May 2022, and the same period for specifically sleeper late model trucks, that is 46.9. So very, very close. Yeah, definitely a decline, definitely a decrease in this used truck market. Let's look at some prices, okay? So we're going to go through just a few years, and I think this will be quite eye-opening. So the model year 2021, you're looking at just under 80,000 bucks for the truck. That's about 22% lower than it was in April. So we're looking at May versus April. So pay attention here, because we're looking at a $22,000 savings in just 1 month, right? You don't want to be in a position where you're like, oh, damn, I bought this truck last month and now it's 20 grand cheap, right? However, you're looking at 2020 model year, about 20 grand less, about 59,000 bucks, but it's only 1.2% lower. That's a big difference. 21.8 versus 1.2. So 2020 model year, what they're actually seeing is that trucks were actually bringing in a lot more miles, because the market started, hey, out in 2021 especially. The 2021 model years actually would have been the ones with the higher miles, because generally those were released a little bit earlier than that with the new model year. 2019 is 42.5 for the truck. You're saving about $4,500 versus April, about 9.6% lower. Next one down is going to be your 2018 model year, about 29,500, saving about 2,800 bucks. That's 8.6% cheaper. Then finally, we got our 2017 model year with a 21.9 price or 21.8 price, a little over 3,000 bucks in savings, lower than in April if you bought at those average prices, and that's about 12.4% cheaper than it would have been in April. So as you can see, there's a major difference for the 2021 year, because they generally had way more miles. All right, so keep that in mind. Now let's look at that a little bit deeper, okay? The trade-ins that are coming into the dealer lots, where they're able to keep statistics on these things, they're running in a range of miles of 400,000 miles per semi-truck to 700,000 miles per semi-truck. And they're flooding the market. So keep in mind that the used equipment is going to continue going down in price, and the better equipped trucks are going to go first, and there's going to be remnants of all this trash that's going to be laying around that's going to go for next to nothing. A lot of guys are going to be able to pick up some really decent trucks that might be a little bit trashed, a little bit beat up, put in some elbow grease, and you'll be out there with huge savings once the market actually bottoms out. So next we're going to actually look at the ATA's estimates for the mile. So what they actually have seen is that the ATA basically sees the pre-pandemic annual mileage. The estimate's about 90,000 miles a year per unit. Okay, so 90,000 miles. Now what's interesting is that the incoming trucks are coming in for the same time period at 170 to 185,000 miles. If we multiply 90 times 2, that's 180,000 miles, right? So they're right there in the sweet spot, double the miles of what would have been expected this time of year. Okay, so basically a year down. So trucks have a lot more miles on them, and here are a few things that truckers can do. Number one, super easy, buy some used trucks, right? Now this is all dependent on where you are, right? So if you have one truck, or you need to buy a truck, or you need to buy a trailer, or you just have one truck that you're trying to to upgrade or to change, and which by the way is the next one, to trade in your old truck, because here's the problem. This is how you kind of have to think about it. The cost of operations on the maintenance side, on the parts side, on the labor side have increased, nearly exponentially. The prices have gone up. The statistics are in. We've done videos about it. The majority of the money that was eaten up in terms of the operating costs, in terms of the budget available for the repair of the truck was, many times higher. So it would benefit you to trade in your old truck and get yourself something newer, something with low miles, right? So obviously you don't want to trade in your truck and get a truck with 700,000 miles on it, unless that's all you can afford, or you could turn your own wrenches, etc., etc. So to each their own. But you could buy some used trucks. You could trade in your old trucks, and if you're a larger fleet, upgrade your fleet. This would be the time, and this is actually a bigger deal for bigger fleets, because you're able to dollar cost average, which means that if you save 20 grand on one, and 22 on another, maybe 25 on another, and you just slowly kind of work down and refresh your fleet, you're going to have better trucks, happier drivers, and you're going to save money in the long run, and get yourself into a new position of depreciation to reduce your gross income for your tax, right? So that's going to definitely help. Now, when buying, shop around, right? Make sure you shop around. A lot of people, they just go in and almost, a lot of folks were buying homes sight unseen, right? Just online, look at the pictures. Oh, that looks great, all right? And then they show up, and then they're very, very unhappy, and there are things that were unsaid or left unsaid. Same thing with semi trucks, right? I mean, we're basically buying a house on wheels that needs to be paid off not in 30 years or 40 years as it is nowadays, but in just about 5. So that's why our payments are so high. Interest is high. Make sure you shop around. This is a buyer's market. Make sure you take the time, check everything. Do the oil samples, do all the liquids. Check everything. Make sure there's nothing wrong with this thing. It's in best possible shape for the year and for the price. Next thing, inspect carefully. Obviously, go through that process. We've had way too many folks who bought into very expensive trucks during the peak of the market. The truck had a catastrophic failure for something that would have been obvious had they done the necessary testing, and now they have a truck that's not worth fixing, yet it has, $100 to $140,000, a note on it, and they still need to get themselves into another truck. So this is a very tough situation for an owner op. Oftentimes will put owner ops out of business. So be sure to inspect your equipment very, very carefully. And finally, negotiate, right? Haggle. That's part of the fun. If you don't enjoy it, you're probably not going to get, as much of a discount, but dealers are ready to haggle. They might try to stay firm, but they got to make that commission. They got to move that metal, as they call it in the industry. I would highly recommend making sure you haggle, make sure that you negotiate, have some numbers, have some comparables for you. Bring a friend, somebody from the industry. You really got to get these guys to lower your prices. However, or in this case, but keep in mind that used truck prices will likely continue to fall for some time. If we're going to go down to 5% a month, you're looking at 5% per month. That's a very large number. And with today's gross income being very, very low, you want to make sure that you're in a position that you're saving up front. If you can't make it on the back end, make it on the front end, and then, put yourself in a very good position there, because the income side is going to be lower. So there is a time in every market to buy, to sell, to run, to sit. So you just have to make sure you time those markets. You're not timing the market in terms of when will it bottom out so I can buy at the very bottom. Most likely not going to happen. But what you are able to look is your general market tendencies, right? If the market is generally going down and has been for a while, you already have a locked in over 40% savings from this time of last year, and the market continues to go down. So if you're in a position where you have a crappy truck and got to replace it, get it done. If you're in a position where you're starting out and you got to, get yourself a truck, your first truck, you're in a very good spot to do so. So jump in and pick one out and get it going. If you're in a position of a fleet owner and you've got a couple of units out there that are just causing more and more problem, and then the numbers on the spreadsheets are coming up like this thing's bleeding money, then maybe it's time to get rid of that one and slowly upgrade your equipment. So definitely it will continue for some time. Doesn't mean you have to hit at the very bottom of the market, but if you can afford to wait, certainly wait. Now, next I want to look at a couple of reasons why we're having these problems, right? Why we're struggling in the way that we are. So you got to remember, bank lending is down. I got a very, very good friend of mine, known him for 25 plus years now, and he's been working at a very large regional bank here in the state of Utah for many, many years. A very high position, a very large portfolio that he handles, and being that we're very close friends, he's been giving me some inside tips and information that's been going on. This was one of the top banks that was actually profitable during the 2008 collapse, and definitely can take some notes from them. But bank lending is down, and how do we know? Is because they're having hiring freezes, and they're requiring certain things that weren't required in the past. So for example, let's see here, a down payment is required. Now, so this is one friend. Now I got another friend who's been working with the same bank, another regional bank, totally different state, totally different place for the last 7 or 8 years. They bought millions of dollars worth of equipment from them, had everything financed through them, everything was great, always at 0%. Now the banks are requiring, even with a relationship like that, with no late payments, nothing, no issues, a very large credit line, they're requiring 20% down. So keep that in mind for yourself. For your financing, you might be looking at 20% down or higher, or if not, then you're going to be financing a total dollar amount at a very high interest rate. So keep that in mind. So in the first scenario, they're just cutting down. You have to be a very, very highly qualified buyer, basically, or in order for them to lend to you. In the second case, they'll lend to you, but you got to put the money down. And those are first tier banks. These are not secondary market or tertiary market. Now, another thing that we've had a chat with, a good friend of mine was talking to an owner of a local semi-truck shop that does a lot of the service calls, a lot of the repairs, a lot of the towing, things like that. And what they've noticed, and this is one of the telltale signs of where things are going, down, is the service calls. They're down. So he was saying, look, this is a number one indicator, because most of the time people will Google, they'll call the dealer, they'll find out if they got a spot, this, that, and then we get the phone calls, right? And those phone calls have gone down. So does that mean that trucks are suddenly much more reliable than they ever were? No, absolutely not. They're the same as they always were. Trucks break, is just people are not driving as much as they used to. And because of that, repairs are down, right? And that's what he said. They were hanging out, they were talking. He said, listen, look around the parking lot. It's empty. I believe he said that the last time he's seen that was around the 2007, 2008, range of years. So guys, things are not looking good. Service calls down, repairs are down, bank lending is down. They're all requiring, down payment money. And on top of that, freight rates are also down, and you're fully aware of that. So no need to talk about that too much. However, the only thing that's up are also repossessions, and repossessions are going to be another key indicator of where the market is going. The financial solvency of a lot of these smaller companies, because if equipment's getting repossessed, it's going to go up to the auction block. That's going to further lower the cost on this equipment. So again, if you can afford to wait, please do so. Right now, this is where we come in, guys. How we can help you, and we can't help you buy a truck. We can't help you finance any sort of equipment. That's not what we do. I I guess I could. I have some contacts in the industry if you really need them. You know, you can shoot me an email, give me a call. I'll be more than happy. I'll get your email, I'll send you some contacts that might be of use to you. But that's not our primary thing. We run a truck dispatch service, right? You can get more information about our service at aftdispatch.com. You can also take a look at our videos. We have a huge playlist for, you know, over 3 years of videos on there, 3 or 4 years of videos, where every week, Friday at 5:30 Central, we actually show you guys our top earners, right? Every week they're, you know, they're changing, different guys, different equipment, different lanes, different, you know, different everything. And we look over each one of their loads for the week. We look at their rates, we look at the dollar amounts, we look at the commodities. We you know, map them out on right on screen. It's really kind of nifty videos. I would definitely recommend watching those and subscribe to the channel so you can watch them weekly. That way you can kind of get a really good pulse on the market itself. So definitely do that. Like I said, our website, there's our phone number, 801-448-6363. You can you know, call or text that number, get more information, go to our website. You're going to see 2 forms on there. Here, let me see if I can get this for you. So here's our website. You're going to see 2 little buttons here, right? So learn more here, learn more here. One's for truck dispatch services, those folks that have their own MC authority, have their own, you know, the trucking company. And then you got the folks who lease on owner operators who got their own equipment and just, you know, they like to lease on. So in either case, if you're not making the kind of money that we're talking about in our other weekly videos, then you definitely want to get in touch with us, whether you have your own MC or you don't, because we can definitely help you out. So all you do is, like, for a carrier, just, you know, first name, MC, email, and your phone number, will get in touch. Similarly, if you click on the lease on guys, it's even easier. It's just your name, your email, and your phone number. We'll get in touch with you and we'll be able to discuss, you know, whatever we got to talk, whatever questions you got going on, we can definitely get that to you. So, you know, we do truck dispatch, we have owner operator leasing, and we are working on a lease purchase program that is in effect right now for highly qualified customers. So definitely get in touch with us, guys. Would love to speak with you guys, you know, help you out wherever I can. We make these videos. We plan to make additional videos that will come out, you know, every few days or whatnot. And would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. If you would do so, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and see you guys over the next few days. Take care, guys. Good luck.